What's going on, guys? In this video I want to go over some common pitfalls and mistakes that a lot of traders make. Especially we're going to focus on prop firm trading. Okay, so my name is D Anthony. I am the founder of Evolution Traders. It's an online educational community where we do live trading. I've got courses, strategy guides, and just a great overall place to learn how to trade and become a better consistent trader. But in this video, what I want to talk about is some of the pitfalls that a lot of traders fall into. Okay, and I see the same things. I've been running the community for 4.5, 5 years now, and for the better half of 2 years it's been pretty predominantly futures traders, especially futures traders who are trading with prop firms. Now, one thing that I kind of see that happens a lot is you don't understand what a realistic expectation is. Okay, so we want to have a realistic expectation in terms of the profit that we're going to make, okay, and the stop losses we're going to take. And a lot of times you're not having that realistic approach because, let's be honest, what do you guys see when you go to social media? You see the trader with the Lamborghini, you see the trader who's on live streams each and every single day, you know, making $5,000 a day, $10,000 a day. It's kind of like, you know, you heard the story in the newspaper or the story on the news where someone won, you know, the Powerball Mega Millions and won $500 million, right? And it's like everyone rushes out to go buy a lottery ticket the next week. When realistically, you have to kind of break down, and this is what I tell my traders, break down what is your 9 to 5 income, right? I'm assuming that most of us are adults over the age of 18, most of us a lot older than that, but we should all have some source of income. Okay, we should all have some source of income. So what is your source of income right now? Again, you could be retired and maybe drawing from a 401k or a pension or maybe social security check or maybe a disability check. You could have a regular 9 to 5 where, you know, maybe you're a construction worker, maybe you are an accountant, maybe you're a nurse, maybe you're a firefighter, maybe you're a clerk, maybe you're a retail associate. Maybe you're a salesperson, right? We all have some sort of 9 to 5 income. And if I was to kind of look at, and I'm going to pull it up here on a side screen, if I was to kind of look at what is the average American salary, okay? What is the average American salary? Now, the average American salary is $39,982, okay? So when we think about the average here, let's call it, you know, 30,000 to 45,000. This is average, okay? So when you start to get this average, and let me go ahead and pull up a calculator here because we're going to do some quick math. I want the calculator. So if we look at this calculator, I'll pull the calculator off to the side and then bring it back. If I do 39,000, if I do, let's just keep the math simple, right? $40,000 a year divided by 12 is about $3,000 a month. Okay, it's about $3,300 a month. So let's call it 35, right? If you divide that times 2, because most people are getting paid twice, okay, twice a month, you're making about $1,600. Now that's the average. That's the average American salary. And if you think about it, maybe you live in a place like myself, you know, am I proud that it's cost an arm and a leg to live here in California? No, but it's where I was raised, it's where I was born, it's where I reside. Will I eventually move someday? Probably. But the moral of the story here is, yes, maybe in some parts of America you cannot survive on a $3,000, $4,000 salary. I get it. Okay, I get it. But again, you don't have to think about, well, I need to have this trading income replace my 9 to 5 and some. Okay, you don't need to think that. You can keep your average salary of $39,000 to $45,000 a year, and you can add another $40,000 to $45,000 a year with trading, and that's going to bring you up into the 6-figure range. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need a lot of time to trade. It definitely, you know, you could build a strategy model, maybe trading 1 to 2 hours of the day each and every single day. And the beautiful thing about futures is that the market is running 23 hours a day. You can trade Asian session, you can trade London session, you can trade New York session, depending on your availability to work around your schedule. And there are strategies that you can build around that schedule. So what are some of the common pitfalls that I see and the mistakes that I see is I see traders trading way too many sessions. So because the markets are open for 23 hours a day, you are trying to trade through Asian, right? You're trying to trade through Asia, you're trying to trade through London, and you're trying to trade through New York. So maybe you have a little bit of success here off the open in Asia. Maybe you get chopped up in London. Maybe you hit a nice winner in New York and then give it all back by the end of the day. So you constantly do this, and what you're doing is just zigzag, 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 or as I like to say, okay, as I like to say inside of my room, imagine this being a hamster wheel. Okay, there's a hamster wheel here, and I'm going to make an attempt to draw a funny little, hamster, right? Let's say that's a leg here, and that's the face here. That looks more like a rat, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And we'll do a little squiggly tail here, right? Do hamsters have a little fuzzy tail or squiggly? I don't know. But this little hamster is you, and you begin to run around and around and around and around and around in this circle. And what I'm getting at here is that the longer you continue to trade through Asian session, London session, New York session, you tend to just kind of chop yourself up. And maybe you have success here one day, success here another day, success here another day, and this day the following was a loser, and this day following was a loser, and this day following was a loser. It's like you've got to narrow things down, right? So you've got to be a little bit more realistic. I believe in sticking to one session. So the session that I trade is New York. Okay, I trade the New York session. And I trade a window inside of the New York session. So my window is between 9:30 market open. Okay, and this is another problem that I see a lot of traders have. 9:30 market open until about 1 o'clock. Now 1 o'clock p.m. is kind of pushing it. Typically speaking, I like to be done, right? I like to be done by 11:30. Like just right before lunchtime. But occasionally I'll stick around until after lunch because sometimes there's a setup coming out of lunch. But typically my window is about 2.5 to 3 hours each and every single day. So not only am I choosing one session to trade, okay, I am also, that's not how you spell session, I am choosing one window to trade, okay? So one window, and I'm giving myself about a 2 to 3 hour window each and every single day to trade. Now from there, you need to have a strategy, of course, right? And we teach a lot of different strategies in Evolution Traders. Again, there's a plethora of strategies. I will never knock any one particular strategy. I believe that all strategies can make you money. You just need to be able to execute on that strategy. But for me, I'm speaking for myself personally. I operate between 2 and 4 strategies or entries or setups, right, a day. Now, what I need to do and what you need to do as well is you have to wait, okay? Nobody likes to wait. You have to wait for these setups to confirm. Why do you have to wait for them to confirm? A lot of times traders are looking to anticipate what the market is going to do based on the price action. So let's say this is a start of the open, and let's say we kind of put in a little bit of a high, market pulls back, puts in a little bit of a higher low, and then starts to consolidate, right? It starts to do something like this. A lot of times traders will say, no, the market's not going higher. There's an area of resistance here, so I'm going to get short. Only to see it put in a false new low and immediately scream to the upside, and vice versa. A lot of times traders will say, okay, well, we're consolidating here. This looks like a fantastic move for a breakout. And all it was just a trend line or flag breakdown, and then you get some type of lower high or some type of double bottom here, consolidation. And a lot of times traders like to anticipate what the market is going to do instead of waiting for what the market is doing, right? You want to see that break, retest, and then your entry is getting in after the break and retest. So when you really think about it, you don't want to anticipate what the market is going to do. You want to wait for what the market is going to do. Now, what does all this mean, D? Like, what am I talking about here? How can I make, the average American salary starting off as a new trader? How can I make an additional $40,000 to $50,000 a year as a new trader? Well, the beautiful thing with prop firms is, let's say, for example, you have to make $3,000 in your prop firm eval, right? $3,000 in your prop firm eval. From there, you get into a funded account, right? We'll just say FA for funded account. And then from here, you typically have between $2,000 and $2,500 drawdown on this account. So this is the size of your account. And I'm speaking about a 50K account, right? So a 50K account. So for me, I look at this as a business model. It's money in versus money out. If an average 50K account costs between $30 and let's call it $60, right, for an account, and then maybe an additional $100 for activation, we are all in about $100 to $160 all in. So if I invest about $1,000, I can get about 8 of these accounts. Now, assuming that I funded account for FA, assuming that I can pass all of them. Okay. Now let's say, because I'm human, I don't pass all of them. And let's say I fail 3 of those accounts and only 5 of them, right? 5 of them make it to a funded account. So now I've got 5 accounts. I'm invested about $1,000 into my business. And now I have 5 funded accounts. All I need to do is trade them nice and slow. And I start off by telling people, you don't need to go out there and make $1,000 a day to get paid out. What you need to do is focus on trade setups that are going to give you between $100 and $200 a day. And you need to, what is the magic word here? Wait, right? So unless you plan, and again, unless you plan on not waking up tomorrow, the market is going to be open tomorrow. What do I mean by that? Well, let's bring my calculator back. Okay, let's bring my calculator back. Let's clear this off. If you make, let's say, an average of $145 a day, that's your average winning day. And let's say you trade for 30 days, okay? You're going to make around $4,300. So let's write this down. $4,300, okay? Remember, we have 5 funded accounts. Remember from the model from like previously in this video. Like we invested $1,000. We had 10 accounts. We passed 8 of them, or we attempted 8 of them, and 5 of them blown up. Right? They blew up. So we ended up with investing $1,000. We've got 5 funded accounts, but they're ready to go. Okay. Again, I'm just saying this is for newer traders, right? So if you make around $125 to $140. Average $145 average on a day, you're going to make about $43.50 in 30 days. Okay. So in 30 days. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a discrepancy here because you're not going to win 30 days in a row, right? Even your best trader is going to lose 2 to 3 trades out of 10, right? You're going to operate at a 70% win rate, 65% win rate. So we have to account for that. We have to account for some losing days, right? But if we are trying to average, let's call it $145 a day average, what do you think we want to average? This is, I'll put WD for winning day. What do you think we want to average for a LD, losing day, right? About 145 to 200, okay? We want to make sure that our average losing day is similar to our average winning day, okay? What we don't want to see is an average winning day of 145, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 winning days. All of a sudden, you have that first losing day out of 4 days for $1,400, right? How many times has that happened to you? You do good, your profits are small, you're consistent. First trade of the day is a loser. Go on tilt, and then you end the day down 1,400. And now that account is almost as good as gone, right? So we have to really stay disciplined on trying to keep our losing days around the same amount of money as our average winning day. Now, even if out of every 10 days, you lose 2 days, okay? So for every 10 days that you trade, let's get this off the screen. For every 10 days that you trade, let's say that you lose 2 of those days and you lose, let's say $300, right? Let's say you lose This is 10 days traded. This is 2 losing days that average around $300. So let's say you're down 600, okay? Well, over the course, okay, and remember this number here, this is $4,300 over 30 winning days, okay? So what I need to see here is if we lose $600, and this is just basic math that you guys can play around with. If we lose $600 every 10 days, then over the course of 30 days, we're going to lose $1,800. So what I'm going to do now is minus $1,800 from the 4,300, and that gives you $2,500. Let me open your eyes for a second, guys. You only need to make $2,600 to get a payout with Apex, right? You only need to trade for 8 days. So you can still allow yourself 6 losing days over the course of 30 and still get a payout. And remember, going back to the situation where we had 5, right? We had 5 funded accounts. Well, what about if you took out $500 times 5 accounts? That's $2,500 a month, guys. And if you take $2,500 a month across 5 accounts times 12 months, you're looking at $30,000. You're damn near close to that average American salary for trading very small, for making $100 to $200 a day, and trying to take a payout every 30 days. Now, mind you, you can definitely take out 1,000 times 5 accounts. You're going to need to have a little bit of a higher balance, maybe something closer to $3,000, $3,200 in profit, or you can take out up to $2,000, but you're going to need to make a little bit closer to around $3,500, $4,000 in your accounts. But the moral of the story, guys, is the mistakes that I see people making is that they are trying to, okay, they are trying to make this amount in 1 month. You're trying to go out there and make $30,000 a month. Is it possible? Absolutely, guys. Go out there, get 20, 30, 40, 50 funded accounts across multiple different firms. Sure. But it's a lot of stress if you haven't even done $500 a month times 1 account. Start with the 1, because you can always scale, right? And as you scale, this is 1 account, this is 2 accounts, this is 3 accounts, this is 4 accounts, this is 5 accounts. It starts to compound and it starts to compound and the money gets bigger. Now, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this little kind of drawing style video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, guys. If it kind of opened your eyes a little bit to trading, maybe you want to get a part of the team and try something here, working on a trading plan. Right now, Evolution Traders is 50% off if you guys want to join. That link is down in the description box below. If you guys need Apex evaluation accounts, 80% off Apex evaluation accounts. Use code DAnthony. That code is at the top of the screen. I will see all of you guys on the next video.